Hello everyone, welcome to the Langfocus channel, and my name is Paul. Yes, that's right, today the Langfocus channel has reached 50,000 subscribers. This is a big day for me. When I started my channel, I always had the dream in mind, the goal in mind of reaching 50,000 subscribers, and I thought that was kind of the pinnacle. Now it seems like that's an achievable goal, and we'll see how much further I can get than 50,000. But for now, I've achieved my initial goal, and that's really great, really exciting for me. So thank you for all of your support. So, on to today's topic. Imagine that there was a mysterious language in Europe that was surrounded on all sides by languages that it had absolutely no connection with. Well, there actually is a language like that. The language is the Basque language. Basque is a language isolate, meaning that it has no known connection to any other language. It's located in Europe, but it's not an Indo-European language. It forms its own language family, and it is quite distinct, very different from Indo-European languages. It is spoken by the Basque people in the Basque country, a region that spans the Spain-France border in the westernmost Pyrenees Mountains. It is not spoken by all Basques, but by around 27% of them in the Basque country overall. The number of native speakers is 714,135 out of a total population of 2,648,998. And that includes about 663,000 on the Spanish side and 51,100 on the French side. It is an official language at the regional level in Spain, in the Basque Autonomous Community, and in Navarre. In France, it holds no official status. The origins of the Basque language are shrouded in mystery. As I said before, it is a language isolate. It is thought to be the last remaining language that existed in Europe before the arrival of the Indo-European languages. There is conclusive evidence that Basque is a descendant of the Aquitanian language, which is an ancient language spoken in the Pyrenees region. Some similarities are known between Aquitanian and the ancient Iberian language, so some people think that they might be related. But those similarities might just be due to geographic proximity and mutual influence. We don't know. Some linguists suggest that Aquitanian was part of a wider language family called the Vasconic languages, which covered most of Europe before the arrival of the Indo-European languages. But again, we don't know. Other people draw a connection between Basque and other non-Indo-European languages like the Caucasian languages, but again, that's right, we don't know. One thing we do know is that the Basque people, who descend mostly from farmers who arrived in the area around 6,000 years ago, were isolated from the outside world for thousands of years. That's probably partly because of the Basque country's forested mountain terrain and its lack of tempting resources that prevented invasion. This isolation is probably what allowed their language to survive and develop into the Basque language of today. Of course, there were Latin borrowings into the language, and there have been other Romance language borrowings throughout the centuries, but nothing like the total disappearance of other pre-Latin languages in that area. Basque was a unified language until the Middle Ages, when it began to diverge into dialects because of administrative and political divisions within the Basque country. Despite being ruled by outside regimes throughout the centuries, the Basque country still remained isolated and relatively uninfluenced by the outside world, and that includes the language. But when Francisco Franco became ruler of Spain in 1939, the use of Basque was heavily suppressed because Franco wanted to assimilate all of Spain into Castilian culture. It was forbidden to speak Basque in schools and in public, it was banned from media and removed from public services. This led to a big reduction in the number of people who could speak the Basque language, and that's part of the reason that only 27% of people in the Basque country speak the language today. In the 1960s, that suppression was eased somewhat and Basque language schools became permitted, and the language began being used in publications and in education again. This led to the creation of a standardized language called Euskara Batua. It was developed by the Basque Language Academy, or the Euskaltzaindia, and it was intended to be comprehensible to speakers of the various dialects of Basque. There are 5 main Basque dialects: Biscayan, or Western Basque, Guipuzcoan, or Central Basque, Upper Navarrese, Navarrese Lapurdian, and Sulitan in France. These dialects correspond with the historic provinces of the Basque country, but they don't completely correspond with the the modern provinces of today. The level of intelligibility depends on the distance between those two dialects on the dialect continuum, with the most distant dialects having trouble understanding each other. But that's where the standard language Euskara Batua comes in. So what is the Basque language like? Well, its vocabulary has been influenced by the surrounding Romance languages to some extent, but when you look at its structure, you will see that it is unlike any Romance language, or like any Indo-European language for that matter. Basque has grammatical cases, 12 cases to be exact, but that is not really unusual in Indo-European languages, but it has something called the ergative case. That means that there's a special form of the noun when it's the subject of a sentence and it takes a transitive verb. That means it has a direct object. This ergative case is marked with a K at the end of the noun. Now, along with the ergative case, there is also something called the absolutive case. This is for subjects of intransitive verbs, meaning that it has no direct object. And in this case, there is no ending on the end of the noun. Well, let's take a look at a couple of sentences.
Umea kalean erori da.
That means the child fell in the street. But if we look at it word by word, you can see the interesting structure of Basque. Word by word, it's child the, street the, in, fall is. If we look at the first word there, ume is child, but then the definite article is the a at the end. Then for the next word, kalean, kale is street, and then the definite article is a, and then in is the n at the end of the word. If we look at the next word, erori, that's a verb meaning fall, but it's in the perfect aspect. That means that it shows a completed action. And then the auxiliary verb comes after the main verb at the end, and this one means is. It's the present tense form of to be. And another sentence.
Gizonak umeari liburua eman dio.
That means the man has given the book to the child. So word by word, man, the, and then ergative case, child, the, dative case, book, the, given, has. The first word is gizonak. Gizon is man, then the definite article is a, and then the ergative case is k. Umeari, that's child. Again, child is ume, and then this time it has the definite article, a, and then it has the dative case marker, di, at the end. The dative case basically shows who or what is being affected by the action. The next word, dibudua, dibudu is book, and then a is the definite article, and this one looks like a loan word from a Romance language. The next word, eman, is a verb, and it's in the perfect aspect, showing that the action is completed, and then the auxiliary verb, dio, comes after, and that means has. And the next sentence.
Emakumeak gizona ikusi du.
That means the woman has seen the man. So word by word, woman, the, ergative case, man, the, seen, has. So the first word, emakumeak, emakume is woman, the is the a, and ergative case is the k. The next word, gizona, that's the man and the definite article again. The next word is ikushi, which means seen, and again that's a verb with the perfect aspect showing the action's completed. And then the auxiliary verb comes at the end, and it means has. As you can see, the Basque language is very different from any Indo-European language, very different from any language that I've studied, but it also looks quite logical and systematic. It would be a shame to lose a language that's so unique and that connects us with the ancient history of Europe. The number of Basque speakers has sharply declined over the last century, but there are efforts in Spain to revive the language and to make it more widespread again, and hopefully such efforts will continue and become more prominent in France as well. Thank you for watching the Langfocus channel. I want to say thanks again to all of my Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Thanks to all those other people who volunteered in different ways by creating subtitles for videos or offering to write some scripts for GeoFocus or all of those things. Also be sure to check out the Langfocus Facebook account, a Twitter account, and Instagram because I'm often on there and that's a way to keep in touch and always know when I have new content being released. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.